Hey, it's Justin, and it's been a while since our last video on nesting in Fusion 360, so I thought I'd catch up on some improvements and new features that have been added. Let's go through those. Head back in the playlist to see some introduction steps on how to use nesting in Fusion 360. That link's in the description. Keep in mind that Arrange is available for all paid licenses. There have been additional features added in Arrange called Advanced Arrange. That's still in preview as of the making of this video. Eventually, this will be a paid extension update in the nesting and fabrication extension. You can check out this chart on our website at the article link below in the description. If you don't already have Advanced Arrange turned on, you can check that quick by clicking the Arrange button. I've pinned it up here, but you'll see this little button. That's the extension. It's still in preview, so don't worry about that. You just need to go up to your profile, preferences, and then under preview features, you'd type Arrange, and then you'd check this. This may not be forever, but for now, you can use it for free. Push OK. And now you should see some changes, and now it should look like this. All right, so we've got some new features in Arrange, and this is definitely welcome. Arrange has always been the easier to use version of nesting for Fusion, and they've definitely made some improvements. I've been working with the nesting team, and they've done some nice things. So I'm going to give you some of those tips kind of intermixed with the features that have come out, because that's just how I think it might make most sense. Let's jump into the first one. I've told you this before, but objects must be components to nest in any way in Fusion. Here's one of our digital downloads, these strap clamps. I've jumbled them up here so we can set them up a different way. If you want to arrange them, first of all, you have to turn on the design history. So you right click up here, capture design history, and then you can go and open the body list, shift select all of them, right click, create components from bodies. And now you could go through and name them, but Arrange will accept all of these now. The next tip here is I would recommend turning off the auto preview here. So it's nice at times, but it often can be pretty crushing, especially if you have a lot of parts. This should be sticky, so it'll save as soon as you do a completed arrange. Let's use this cabinet as an example for our next arrange. So let's select all the parts like we have been with an arrange open. You're going to see all the parts here, and it's typically pretty useful to name your components. You can tell here that component 15 and 17, I don't even know what that is. I guess they're the stretchers on top, but a little tricky. So the next thing here is to understand how the little arrows work. To understand those, a good reminder is to hover over the arrow and see the tooltip. You can see a good example. The red arrow is the part 0 angle, which is x positive. So x positive, you can see that angle. We're matching it right there. It's going to start out that way. And then the teal arrow is what we're rotating off of it. So you can click and drag, and you're going to see here's actually how I want my grain to align. If for some reason you wanted it to be 90 degree, you could type 90. So the teal arrow would match the x-axis when the part gets onto the sheet when it's nested. That's just setting where we want the grain to orient. The next tip would be you can control all your rotations now through this handy little global rotation control at the top. So by setting this, anything that's set to global will inherit that. Often I just use 180 only. It's going to start out at its original orientation or rotate 180 degrees. This is pretty common in woodworking. You can also then, if one of these doesn't really persist as you would like it to, it's not the right way, you could say, I want this to be something different. Like I don't want this one to rotate. And so that's allowing how many rotations it can do to get onto the sheet. To set up and kind of see how this is going to go, I'll change this back to global. Go to envelopes, select a plane. In this plane, we're going to select the XY. So the sheet should go with the grain and the x-axis. So here's the red is our x-axis. So I'm going to make the length the long side if it's a piece of plywood. 48 is our width. You can set your spacings as needed, but then I'm just going to click preview. And all of our parts have been dropped onto sheets. You'll see right away one of the benefits of Advanced Arrange is we have multi-sheets here. So we can quickly adjust any of these things. They're kind of right here on the screen in the canvas here. You're probably going to find that a bunch of your parts aren't oriented the right way as you'd like them. So then just go back to Objects and you can use these little arrows to align with the x-axis. So that one already is how I want it. I want one of these sides. Those are not right. So I want to allow and click the arrow, and I'm choosing what the x-axis is going to match with. So either of these would work for me. And now you can see that the part grain manipulator is going in the way that I want the grain to go. If you're following along, this is the grain orientation of most sheets of plywood. So push preview. You can see our part is now rotated the right way. Another way to do this is to, let's find our other part here. Component 17. Instead, we can just click here and type in 90. And you're going to see it rotate. So get those set up how I like them. Push preview again. And you can see most of these are right. This piece up here is still not what I like. See how it's grain, if we're following what the actual part is currently the opposite way. So I want that to go to 90 too. You can go through and select these. If you select directly, it's going to get kind of weird, as you can see there. It's selecting by face. I don't love this behavior. So now it's kind of choosing for me, but I want this orientation to go to 90. I usually select most of my parts in this tree. I wish this would get updated. I don't like how this works. I want this one to be 0. And it looks like the rest of these are pretty well set up. So I'm going to push preview again. And now all of my parts are in the right orientation for how I like them. All my grain is running vertical on these parts. And we can just push OK, and our arrange is done. I'll show you another quick one here. This is a nice little tip that's unrelated, but I think it's under the radar. So if you want to extrude, I'm going to make a little box here. If you use thin extrude, you can select the border of the sketch. And let's say we want it to be 20 inches tall, maybe we'll go 15. You can do a wall thickness here, and it's like building a box edge without actually drawing out the border yourself. So I'm going to make that to be 1/2 inch, and we've got a wall thickness that's pretty useful. And we didn't have to draw any of that out. All right, I'm going to throw a whole bunch at you. I got a bunch of tips here all in a row. Here, so I've got the iMac base. I used that thin extrude example to make a box. So this is like packing our iMac bases. To make a bunch of these, I would use the rectangular pattern. I'd select component, select my object. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to say this way. Let's say I want to do 12 at 12 inches apart. And push OK. So now I've got a bunch that I can arrange into this box. If I click arrange, something new here, you can select objects by face up or face down. If you like to select your objects by the face and you want them to be face up or face down, I think I could see this being really useful for additive. If I want to select my face down and I want all the faces of the top to be on the bottom, now I can select that for each of these. Say I want to also have this part be one part of the packing sequence, and maybe the front here. So all those are going to go face down in this box. If I click envelope and I click sketch face, I should be able to just select the inside of this box as my sketch face. So now let's say another tip here, you want to do a height offset. Let's imagine there's 1 inch of foam in the bottom. Let's put 1 there. And we want our object spacing to be 1/2 inch and 1 inch on the side too. And then one more tip here is to allow partial arrange. So in case this doesn't work, it's only going to fill what it can. So that's quite a bit here, but we'll throw at it. Let's do a preview. So I got an error, so I'm going to delete some of these out. That might be a problem. Let's try these. Push preview. Those fit in there real nice. That's a nice little setting. I'm not exactly sure why these are failing, but let's continue and try to select more of these. So I'm going to select more by face. I'm going to select that face, push preview. That worked just fine. So if I turn on auto preview, which I don't usually do, we can kind of go through these and diagnose what the problem might be. So is that one going to work? No, it doesn't seem to like that side. But we could probably select some by the bottom. That worked fine. So we're getting quite a bit of these in here, which is pretty nice to see. But that's the face that doesn't like it. So the rest of these I'm going to fit in like this. So that's kind of a weird arrangement. We could fit a lot more of our bases in there than I would have imagined, and it gives you a really easy way to do some packing. You can do studies where you see how many you fit all up in that way. As long as you have a planar face, it'll allow you to select those. You can always go back and edit and change how this is arranged. You could say, oh, I don't want rotations for some reason. You want them all to always be that way, or only 90 and 270. Add more to the array, or space parts out. If you really want a huge thick pad on the bottom, now it's allowing you to do a 2-inch offset. And to check that out, I would go to inspect, do a section analysis, and then you choose where the section should be. You've never done this, and now you can see that nice gap that's been created from the bottom, and you know that you can easily put your foam in there or your packaging material so that your parts are nice and spaced. Doesn't seem like those parts are very well spaced apart, so we're going to make them 1 inch apart at least. Turn off our analysis. Pretty nice little packed box of product there. Alright, that's my update on arranged nesting in Fusion 360. If you have a question, leave that in the comments. I'll try to get back to you. If you'd like to upgrade to a paid license or thinking about buying an extension, please do throw our links in the description, as that gives us a little kickback. If you want to support the channel but don't want a Patreon-like subscription, Buy Me a Coffee is the perfect option. The idea of Buy Me a Coffee is to offer someone a cash equivalent of buying them a drink as a thank you. It's a one-time thing to show your support for the channel and keeps the content and coffee flowing. Look for the link below for Buy Me a Coffee. If you want to get our CAD and CAM models that we show in the videos, subscribe to our Patreon at cnc.money. Thanks.
If you haven't subscribed, it's imperative you do. I know if you watched this far, you obviously enjoyed it a little.